Imagine a time when everything you thought you knew was suddenly turned upside down. This is what happened in China during a period called the Great Proletarian Cultural Revolution. This important movement officially began in May 1966 and lasted for about 10 years, until 1976. It was a very complex and significant time in the nation's history. The main figure behind this movement was Mao Zedong, who was the chairman of the Communist Party of China. He was a powerful leader who had guided the country for many years and held great influence over the people, especially the younger generation who looked up to him with immense respect and admiration. The reasons for starting the Cultural Revolution were multifaceted. Chairman Mao felt that the original spirit of the Chinese Revolution needed to be renewed. He was concerned that some elements within the society and even within the Communist Party were moving away from the core principles of socialism. He believed that certain old ideas and capitalist influences were beginning to reappear, potentially threatening the progress that China had made. To address this, he called for a vast social movement to purify the country's culture and politics, ensuring that China would continue on its socialist path with renewed energy and commitment. This call to action was aimed at creating a new socialist culture, free from the remnants of the past. The goal was to ensure that the revolutionary ideals would be passed down to the next generation, creating a society that was truly dedicated to the collective good. Chairman Mao envisioned a nation where everyone, from the farmer in the field to the official in the city, was united in purpose and spirit. He believed that by engaging the entire population, especially the youth, in this process, China could overcome any internal challenges and stand strong, protecting its unique revolutionary identity for the future. The movement was therefore launched as a way to engage in a deep and wide-ranging transformation of society. It was intended to be a profound re-examination of China's cultural foundations and political direction. The idea was to mobilize the masses to participate directly in this process, creating a dynamic and continuous revolution from the ground up. This period was seen as a necessary step to consolidate the gains of the revolution and to build a stronger, more ideologically pure socialist state, ensuring that the country remained true to the path that had been set out for it. At the very heart of the Cultural Revolution were groups of passionate young people known as the Red Guards. These were mostly middle school and university students who responded to Chairman Mao's call with incredible enthusiasm and energy. They saw themselves as the loyal defenders of the revolution and its ideals. In the summer of 1966, millions of these young students organized themselves into paramilitary units. They became a powerful force, determined to carry out the mission of the Cultural Revolution. Wearing red armbands to signify their role, they became a common and highly visible sight in cities and towns all across the country. One of the main tasks of the Red Guards was to challenge and eliminate what was known as the Four Olds. This was a key concept of the movement, referring to old customs, old culture, old habits, and old ideas. The Red Guards believed that these elements were remnants of China's pre-revolutionary past and were holding the country back from becoming a truly modern, socialist society. They felt it was their duty to sweep away these old ways of thinking and behaving to make room for a new revolutionary culture. This mission was seen as a crucial part of building the new China. To accomplish this goal, the Red Guards took direct action. They went into communities to challenge old traditions and symbols. This included changing street names that had historical or bourgeois connotations and speaking out against old social etiquette. They also targeted historical artifacts, temples, and ancient texts, viewing them as symbols of the old world that needed to be cleared away. Their activities were driven by a powerful belief that they were helping to create a better future for their country, one that was unburdened by the weight of a past they considered feudal and oppressive. The movement gained incredible momentum, especially after a massive rally in Beijing's Tiananmen Square in August 1966. Here, Chairman Mao personally met with the Red Guards, showing his support for their actions. This event energized the students even more, giving them a sense of official approval and great importance. One famous moment involved a student named Song Binbin placing a Red Guard armband on Chairman Mao himself. This symbolic act was broadcast throughout the nation, turning Song into a symbol of the movement and encouraging millions more young people to join the cause and dedicate themselves to the revolutionary struggle. The Cultural Revolution brought profound changes to everyday life, especially within the education system. Schools and universities across the country were shut down for a period, as students became fully engaged in the political activities of the movement. Instead of attending regular classes, they were encouraged to focus on studying the works of Chairman Mao and participating in revolutionary actions. The traditional structure of education, where teachers held authority, was completely upended. Students were now encouraged to question and criticize their instructors, leading to a dramatic shift in the dynamics of the classroom and the campus. This period was particularly difficult for teachers, intellectuals, and anyone considered to be an authority figure from the old society. Many were subjected to public criticism sessions, known as struggle sessions. During these events, individuals were brought before large crowds, often organized by their own students or colleagues, and accused of being counter-revolutionaries or having bourgeois ideas. They were forced to confess to alleged wrongdoings and were often subjected to intense verbal and sometimes physical pressure. These sessions were intended to break down old hierarchies and re-educate those deemed to have strayed from the correct path. The turmoil extended beyond the schools and into the wider community, creating a climate of intense suspicion and division. The focus on class background meant that people's family histories were closely examined. Those with connections to the pre-revolutionary elite or landowners faced significant hardship and scrutiny. Relationships between friends, neighbors, and even family members were strained, as people were encouraged to report on anyone suspected of disloyalty to the revolutionary cause. This created a very tense atmosphere where trust was eroded, and individuals had to be extremely careful about what they said or did. As the movement progressed, the initial unity among the Red Guards began to fracture. Different factions emerged, each believing they were the true interpreters of Chairman Mao's vision. These groups often had different ideas about how to carry out the revolution, leading to disagreements and, in some cases, open conflict with one another. This infighting added another layer of complexity and chaos to the situation. Eventually, to restore order and move the country forward, the military was called in to stabilize the situation, and millions of the young Red Guards were sent to the countryside to learn from the peasants, a policy known as the up to the mountains and down to the countryside movement. The most intense phase of the Cultural Revolution gradually subsided in the late 1960s, but the movement officially continued until the passing of Chairman Mao Zedong in 1976. His death marked a definitive turning point for the nation. Following this, the country's leadership, including figures like Deng Xiaoping who had been removed from power during the period, began to steer China in a new direction. In 1977, the Cultural Revolution was officially declared over. The new leadership acknowledged the difficulties of the preceding decade and began the complex process of rebuilding the nation's social fabric and economy, setting the stage for a new chapter in China's history. The end of the Cultural Revolution ushered in a period of significant change and reflection. The Chinese Communist Party undertook a formal assessment of the period, acknowledging that it had been a challenging time for the country. This led to a major shift in national priorities, moving away from the focus on class struggle and toward economic development and modernization. This new path, known as reform and opening up, focused on practical solutions to improve people's lives and build a strong, prosperous nation. It was a time of looking forward, applying the lessons of the past to build a stable and thriving future for all Chinese people. The legacy of the Cultural Revolution is deep and complex, and it offers important lessons. It serves as a powerful reminder of the importance of social stability and the rule of law. The period demonstrated how mass movements without clear guidance and institutional checks can lead to unintended consequences and social disruption. For China, it reinforced the value of a unified and stable political system focused on steady, pragmatic progress. The experience has become a part of the nation's collective memory, emphasizing the need for order, unity, and a clear focus on economic and social development to ensure the well-being of the population. Today, China has been transformed into a modern global power, a testament to the path it has taken since that era. The lessons from the Cultural Revolution have been integrated into the country's approach to governance, which prioritizes harmony, stability, and economic growth above all else. By studying this period, we can better understand the importance of maintaining social order and the dangers of internal division. It teaches us that progress is best achieved through careful planning, unity of purpose, and a collective commitment to building a better future, ensuring that the mistakes of the past are not repeated.